What's going on, hustlers? Back at you guys with another video. Thank you guys so much for the growth on the channel. Remember, once you get to 1K, I'm going to go to the warehouse, do a packaging video. Once we get to 5K, I'm going to do a video on how to submit in Dibs. Remember, if you have any questions, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram, but you have to be following me for a response. So my Instagram will be linked down below. Thank you guys so much for the growth on the channel. Also, question for you guys. So I recorded another video earlier today, which is going to go up tomorrow probably. And I was trying to rock like a 5 o'clock shadow, but it just looked like messy and not nice. So then I was like, okay, I'm not going to record this other video. I'm going to shave. And then you know how it goes as a man. You're shaving, and then you start shaving everywhere else. But you leave, like as a man, you'll either leave your mustache, or you'll leave your beard, or you'll leave both and see what it looks like with a goatee. And then I shaved, and I brought the mustache back. And like 2 months ago, I had like a full one. Like if you go watch the first video that I posted, I had a full mustache. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I'm just thinking for this stage of my life, just for where I'm at, I'm getting lean and mean. I got a race coming up. I'm just feeling like the stash is kind of the way to go. But comment down below, do you guys prefer the clean shaven, the mustache? I don't even want to know if you guys like the 5 o'clock shadow, because I was lying to myself saying I like the 5 o'clock shadow, but I just look like messy and not organized, not coherent. So comment down below what you guys think looks the best, what you guys think is the most appealing. I kind of sort of like the mustache sometimes. My mom does not like it. I've dated some girls that are like, if you shave it, I will be livid. And I've dated other girls that are like, if you keep it, I will be livid. So there's two sides of the aisle, but the mustache is polarizing. Anyways, as you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be discussing 5 ways to not lose money with the government. So these are 5 key things that you want to do, 5 key mistakes that you want to mitigate with the government. Number 1, long lead time, parentheses, delivery days. So when you're submitting your bid on Dibs, it says delivery days, which is essentially the lead time. You're telling the government how long it's going to take for you to ship the material to them. So oftentimes people see delivery days on the solicitation in section B, right under the CLIN, and like, oh, DLA wants it in, I don't know, 47 days. And like, I have to get it to them in 47 days. No, you do not. Because the government buys based on forecast, not on what they immediately need. So because of this, you can afford to tell DLA, hey, I'll get it to you in, 200 days on that 60-day lead time or whatever. I always say my rule of thumb is 120 days. I don't care if it's stock. I don't care if it's sitting in your backyard. I don't care if you can get it tomorrow. I don't care if you can get it today. You tell the government you'll give it to them in 120 days. I'm dealing with some clients right now who the material was stocked, but then some issues came up, and we're already about like a month into the time that they've given themselves. Excuse me. So yeah, you want to give yourself a long lead time because you don't want to be late on any contract, and you want to give yourself a minimum of 120 days, and then whatever the vendor gives you, add 100 days to that. So if the vendor says 150 days, you're going to tell DLA you can give it to them in 250 days. So number 1, long lead time. That's the first way to not lose money. Number 2, paying mind or attention to the unit of issue. So oftentimes people will sell something, right? Or they'll get ready to sell something. They'll look at a solicitation and it'll say quantity 8, right? And then people get the quote and they get a quote for 8 each, not knowing that DLA's unit of issue is like 8 boxes or 8 packages. Or if it's a roll or like a chain or a rope or something, it can be 8 feet, right? Or maybe it could be like TN for the unit of issue, meaning 10 as in 10 feet. So people will get a quote, they'll mess up on the unit of issue, their pricing will be so competitive because they're getting priced for 8 units instead of 80 units. Let's say if DLA is asking for 8 packages and each package has 10, they'll bid the contract, they'll win it, they'll feel super great about themselves, and then when it comes time to purchase, they realize that they're actually so deep in the red. So please pay attention to unit of issue. At least once a month, a company makes this mistake. Number 3, please get all your quotes in writing. So a lot of times people will get on the phone with somebody and they'll say, oh, pricing and availability, go check out my $1 million phone call cold calling script revealed. It tells you exactly what to say. And then go check out my other video that talks about how to get products or pricing on products. It literally is email RFQ template. It's free. Go watch those videos. Literally tells you what to say, what to include in your email. But sometimes people will do that, and then they'll call somebody, and instead of getting it in writing, the person will just be like, oh yeah, I can give you these 100 units at $50 each. So you as a buyer, as a firm, you're like, okay, it's $5,000, you go submit your bid. But you never once got it in writing. You didn't confirm the company, you didn't confirm the case, you didn't confirm anything. So then let's say 2 weeks later, you win the contract, you go back, and then let's say that salesperson left, or let's say the cost of that material went up because of, raw material or whatever the case may be. And then it comes time for you to purchase it. You call somebody else picks up the phone from that same company you got the quote from. And now instead of it being $50, it's literally $100. And now your price is doubled and your margin is gone. You need to get your quotes in writing, and industry standard is whatever you get in writing is usually valid for 30 days. If it's not, though, at least on the quote, it will tell you that the pricing is subject to prior availability and can be changed without notice. So at least you know that if something like that happens, you can relay that information to DLA as well. So number 3, you want to get all your quotes in writing. Number 4, not detailing the country of origin. What I mean by this is if something is coming from outside of the U.S. and you're aware of this, even if you're not aware, you need to get aware. You need to make yourself aware. If something is coming from outside the U.S. and you tell DLA that it's coming from America, but it really is, from Turkey or something like that, that's bad news bears right there. So you want to make sure that you're detailing the country of origin, and you always want to make sure that you're asking the vendor, let's say if it's the distributor, right? Because your vendor is just the person giving you the part, but your vendor could be a distributor or it could be a manufacturer. So vendor just means selling the part, but there's 2 kinds of vendors, distributor or manufacturer. So if it's a manufacturer and the cage code is in America, 90% of the time you're good. You can just ask them, be like, hey, you guys make this at the address listed on the cage code, and they'll say, yes, you're good. However, if it's a distributor and let's say the approved source does have an American cage code, but their manufacturing facility or plant is outside of the U.S., which I'm literally dealing with this situation right now with a client of ours. If the parts are coming from somewhere outside the U.S., you have to get that in writing so that way you can then notate that to DLA. So I'm not saying that they won't accept it, because oftentimes they do accept it. However, they just want to be able to do their due diligence and then make sure that it's coming from, I don't want to say a reputable country, but there's a list of countries on what's called the approved country list. And those are basically all the NATO countries and then a couple more. So just for national security purposes, you have to be telling DLA what country the material is coming from, because if you don't, bad news bears. You can pay fines, you can pay penalties. They might just cancel the contract altogether. Number 5, fifth way to not lose money with DLA is bidding on solicitations that you do not have certs for. Now, I'm actually going to make a video on this about why certifications are a lie in government contracting. And that's not to say that they have no value, and that's also not to say that they're the end-all be-all either. There are just some certifications like an ISO cert or a JCP cert. ISO is quality assurance. JCP is joint certification cert, which allows you to deal with export control documents and stuff that's manufactured outside the country or needs to get exported or imported. So those 2 certs, if you do not have them at the time when you win the contract, DLA will cancel it. No questions asked. They'll cancel the contract, no questions asked. They will not wait for you to get those certs and put all that stuff in place. The reason for that being, when you bid on a contract, you are basically certifying to the government up front that you are going to be in compliance with all the things that they are asking you to be in compliance with. And number 1 of those being the certifications, especially the ISO cert, that's the biggest one, is your quality assurance cert. If you have not had somebody come and certify that you have quality assurance processes in place, and you tell the government that you do, but then come to find out that you actually don't, bad news bears. So do not bid on solicitations that you don't have certs for. That's not to say you can't bid on an SDVOSB if you're not certified as one. I do that all the time. You can win those. It's more so dealing with the stuff that's inside the solicitation. So sample test reports and lot testing reports, those aren't certs that you need to get. Those are certs that come with purchasing the product. So a sample testing report, like the manufacturer vendor did a test on a sample of the material. Excuse me. So that comes with that. But if you don't know what you're asking for, you've never dealt with one, I would tell you, if you're a startup, to stay away from it. And sometimes, like I said, your vendor can be the manufacturer or the distributor. And if it's the distributor, they don't always know what a sample test report means or a lot test report means. And if they can't immediately tell you that, yes, we'll get you one over the phone, or like it costs this much to have it done, or this much to have that report made, I would just say either don't go with that vendor or just don't bid on that contract. Because if DLA asks for that and then you ship them the material, you do net 30 with the vendor, whatever the case may be, and then they're like, well, hey, this traceability is delinquent because you guys, didn't give us everything that we asked for, boom, canceled contract. So you want to avoid that. So just to recap, here are the 5 ways that you can not lose money with the government. So give yourself a long lead time, which is the delivery days. Pay attention to the unit of issue. Get your quotes in writing. Detail the country of origin. And only bid on solicitations that you have these certifications for. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We want to get to 1K. My goal is to get to 2K by the end of the month. I think we'll get to 1K. If not by the end of this week, definitely by the end of next week. And that would be 1,000 subscribers in 2 weeks, but I think that we can do it. The channel's growing at a great rate. And then once we get to 5,000, I'm going to give you guys that video on bidding to DLA. I'll do an overview of that. And yeah, if you got any questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram. You got to be following for a response. And then click the link below to schedule a call with me and my team if you think that DLA is right for you. So as always, not only am I looking forward to your success, but I am sure of it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time, hustlers.